Hi, and welcome to this webinar, where in the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking a closer look at making tax digital and being future ready. Change is coming. Self-assessment, as you know it, is going to change significantly. So we have prepared some useful information to help you understand what this is and what it means. Sage and your accountant or bookkeeper will support you through the transition to ensure you make the right decisions to benefit both you and your business. This webinar will take you through why you should act now and not just because HMRC say you have to. So during this session, we'll have a look at what is it. So what is making tax digital, often referred to as MTD? When is it? We'll have a look at milestones. We'll reflect on what has happened so far. Also, who does it affect and how to solve it using Sage. So to start, we'll briefly highlight the background of making tax digital and why it has come about. So during the spring budget in March 2015, the government announced its vision of a comprehensive, connected digital experience using modern technological approaches and services to modernise the tax system. So Making Tax Digital is the UK government's flagship programme to improve and enhance the efficiency and simplicity of tax administration for businesses and customers. It's a 10-year government strategy to make it easier for individuals and businesses to get their tax right and keep on top of their affairs, as well as transforming the HMRC into a world-leading digital tax authority. So the ultimate end goal is that tax authorities have live, real-time transactional data. It also hopes to close the tax gap, so dealing with avoidable mistakes that meant 8.5 billion was lost in tax revenue in 2018 through to 2019. So MTD, as it's known, legislates the digitisation of tax record keeping and submission for the three major types of tax. So starting with VAT in April 2019, moving to income tax in April 2024, which is for unincorporated businesses and landlords, and 2025 for general partnerships, and corporation tax in April 2026 at the earliest. So the fundamental change under the scope of making tax digital for all taxes is digitising business records. So by ensuring taxpayer systems can seamlessly connect to government systems, this makes tax reporting much simpler. So this is the current roadmap for the rollout of making tax digital. So VAT registered businesses with a taxable turnover above the threshold, currently 85,000, marked the first milestone of making tax digital back in April 2019. Since then, major events have included more complex entities being mandated in the following October, and then the end of the soft landing period for digital linking in April 2021. In July 2020, the government announced that the remaining VAT registered businesses must sign up to MTD from April 2022. Unincorporated businesses and landlords with over 10,000 total business and property income must sign up to MTD for income tax from April 2023. And a consultation on MTD for corporation tax would be launched from autumn 2020. So since that, we have seen a couple of milestone changes. In March 2021, we saw the end of the soft landing period for digital links, meaning that submissions from April 2021 would have to have proper digital links between the digital records and the quarterly submissions for VAT. So during the soft landing period, copy and paste was accepted if the digital records were in spreadsheets. But since March, this is no longer permitted. More recently, HMRC withdrew XML filing from April 2021, meaning that VAT registered businesses now need to be MTD registered to continue to submit VAT returns from software. So looking forward now, the MTD for VAT rollout is completed with one final stage in April 2022, when all remaining VAT registered businesses will have to comply. From April 2024, businesses and landlords with business income of more than 10,000 will fall within the scope of MTD for income tax. Partnerships will now be included from April 2025, but only those with individuals as partners will be in scope. All other partnerships, including those with corporate partners, will be required to join income tax self-assessment at a future date, which is yet to be confirmed. And finally, in autumn 2020, HMRC released their consultation for corporation tax, which would mandate quarterly reporting and likely iXBRL tagging of income and expenses, although they have stated in the consultation that they wouldn't mandate MTD for corporation tax before 2026. The earliest mandation for corporation tax is at present April 2026, with a pilot proposed to start April 2024. So for the purpose of this webinar, we will be focusing on MTD for VAT and MTD for ITSA, Income Tax Self-Assessment. So let's take a look back and review the first milestone, which was making tax digital for VAT in April 2019, which is when businesses with the turnover greater than the VAT threshold of 85,000 fell within the scope of MTD for VAT and were mandated to keep digital records for VAT purposes with the introduction of VAT reporting via software. So your accountant or bookkeeper will remember well the challenges in respects of having to set up their new agent services accounts and managing expectations. However, 2 years on, it could be deemed as business as usual with over 1.5 million sign-ups to date. So your accountant or your bookkeeper is now the expert. Many small business owners prior to this were quite fearful of the change with the new solution and processes. However, through their accountant or bookkeeper, they've soon discovered that there were solutions for all which were suited to their skill set and how desired they were to be involved. So they were able to work with their agent in a way that suited them to ensure that they were compliant. So prior to this, the first phase of the journey with MTD for VAT in April 2019, only 11% of businesses submitted their VAT return using commercial software. So now there are some pretty impressive stats with over 1.5 million signed up for MTD for VAT so far. So that includes over 89% of all mandated to join in 2019 and around 30% of the non-mandated, so those that were below the VAT threshold. And those that have signed up have submitted over 9 million VAT returns through the MTD portal. So since 2019, HMRC have carried out some independent research And what they've found is that some businesses had already reported wider productivity gains and reductions in input errors. Businesses using fully automated MTD software were starting to benefit from improving working practices, reducing scope for error, and also time savings. And MTD had the potential to be a significant driver of technology uptake among businesses. There's also a growing body of evidence from research and insights from taxpayers within MTD for VAT, which demonstrates that MTD is securing a range of benefits for those that use it in practice and in business. So those benefits include reducing or eliminating paper-based or manual processes through use of software and an integrated approach to business administration and tax, allowing for greater accuracy in their tax returns. So this reduces the time businesses spend on administration, providing businesses more time to maximize on opportunities, productivity, and profitability. So MTD's intention is that for the majority of businesses, tax will be made easier to get right and harder to get wrong. So there are some common themes from both accountants and their clients. The attitude has changed drastically from the initial thoughts of not wanting to change, the dread, the worry, costs. And some of the case study comments included, I was very worried about how I'd have to change. And many clients do fear changing the way they manage their finances and accounts. So MTD is more commonly considered as an opportunity now to change for the better, with positive outcomes such as efficiencies, RTI, real-time information, collaboration, accuracy, less stress, and peace of mind with compliance. Some of the case study comments reflected this, with making tax digital with my account support means it's a lot less stressful as it helps me get all my figures right. Making tax digital also give us the additional benefit of being able to access up-to-date financial figures, and it also enabled us really to engage well with our clients. Making tax digital for VAT. Since April 2019, so we know that VAT registered businesses with a taxable turnover above the VAT threshold have been required to submit and follow MTD rules by keeping digital records and using software to submit their VAT returns. MTD for VAT April 2022. Businesses with taxable turnovers below the initial VAT threshold of 85,000 are now required to follow the same making tax digital rules. So this is dubbed as the full digital journey. And one major update for this phase is the use of digital links to comply with this legislation. And MTD for ITSA. April 2024, unincorporated businesses and landlords with total business or property income above 10,000 per year will be required to follow MTD rules. And April 2025, partnerships for those with individuals as partners and total business income above 10,000 per year will fall within the scope. All other partnerships, including those with corporate partners, will be required to join ITSA at a future date which is yet to be confirmed. So the fundamental requirement for all making tax digital is digital record keeping. The process is sign up, maintaining digital records, followed by submitting digitally to HMRC. The requirements for businesses mandated in April 2022 are identical to the earlier waves of MTD for VAT business sign-ups. So MTD for VAT means that VAT registered businesses will no longer be able to use the Government Gateway portal to enter the 9-box values manually to submit VAT returns under MTD. Creating a Making Tax digital account can be done from the HMRC website. And the latter three are all taken care of when processing in a digital software solution. So under MTD, businesses must keep digital records and use third-party software to submit their tax returns to HMRC. Under the changes, those who do not already keep their records digitally will need to start doing so for their VAT obligations. The process of then sending returns to HMRC will become more straightforward, with their returns generated and sent directly from the software they are using to keep their records. The software used must be capable of receiving information from HMRC digitally, which is via their API platform, Application Programming Interface Platform. And accountants and bookkeepers can continue to use their agent services account to administrate VAT on behalf of their clients. So what does this mean for you as the client? What I've done is I've split the journey up into 5 stages. So I'll walk through each of the stages in more detail later, but I just wanted to give you an overview of what the journey will look like under Making Tax Digital. So for Making Tax Digital for Income Tax Self Assessment, the main change is that self-employment and property reporting now falls under MTD. So effectively, the SA 103 and 105 schedules are replaced with periodic updates, which will be at least quarterly, and an EOPS are sent to HMRC outside of the annual self-assessment process. It will require digital record keeping of all business transactions and an electronic update of summary totals of these transactions on a periodic basis, again at least quarterly, from software to HMRC using APIs. So at the end of the tax year, the taxpayer will need to submit an EOPS, which is an end of period statement, to finalise the taxable profit from any one source of business income. In addition to these updates for business profits, the taxpayer still has to submit a final declaration, which effectively replaces the SA 100 tax return. And like self-assessment, the taxpayer has from the end of the tax year to the following 31st of January to submit the EOPS and final declaration and to pay any tax owed. So instead of a single return under self-assessment, the taxpayer will have at least 5 returns for each business under MTD, which is at least 4 periodic updates, for example, 4 quarters, and an end of period statement, EOPS, for each business. So a key thing to remember is the fundamental requirement is digital record keeping. So a digital connection needs to be created between your records and the VAT return, and between the VAT return and HMRC. So this creates a digital chain. So now we'll take a closer look at what records do you need to keep. So rather than simply entering totals, you will need to record in a digital solution a full breakdown of each transaction. All of this can be taken care of on Sage Business Cloud. So now it's time to consider how you currently keep your records, the complexity of your tax affairs, and the timing of when you'll need to start complying. So the best advice would be to start planning transition sooner rather than later, and work with your accountant or work with your bookkeeper. So it's worth noting that your agent will have many clients to support through this process to ensure that everyone is ready and confident well ahead of the deadline. We know between now and April 2024, UK accountants and bookkeepers have over 4.5 million clients to support to be MTD ready. So to think of that, for example, if your agent has just 200 of those clients to get MTD ready, they simply cannot leave everyone to the last minute. And thinking back to the point why you should act now and not because HMRC says you have to, it's essential to get up to speed and for everyone to feel confident with the new processes and workflows to ensure that you and your business benefits from the value of going digital. So tackle tax together, and it's so much easier to do this with your accountant or bookkeeper. So start to think about the benefits of using a digital solution and why it's best to go digital sooner rather than later. You'll get access to your books anytime, anywhere. As long as you have an internet connection, you'll be able to view and do this on a PC, on a tablet, on a mobile device. And collaboration with your agent, so your accountant or bookkeeper, is key. So this will give you that live collaboration between you, your business, and your accountant or bookkeeper. You'll have that visibility to see your financial position and where the business is at. You'll also be able to drill down on any transactions, and you'll have that seamless submission of your VAT returns straight to HMRC. Think about all operations and processes, so from capture on a mobile app through to tax and compliance, and how you and your accountant or bookkeeper could optimize your workflows. So you can work together in a way that suits you best for your business. You can choose which bits of the process you want to do and which bits your agent will do. So Sage has you covered with all solutions from invoicing on a mobile app to expenses, thinking about paying employees, payroll, through to tax, all to improve efficiencies. So this incorporates the many benefits and gains of digitization, providing efficiencies, future-proofing, and supporting your business growth and much more. Sage Business Cloud is that full end-to-end solution. Taking a closer look at one of our digital solutions and considering that one size does not fit all, you can tailor how you work with the solution to suit how involved you want to be and how you work and collaborate with your accountant or bookkeeper. So Sage Business Cloud Accounting is perfect for small businesses. Thinking about in terms how involved you can choose to be. So you could do as little as capture income and expenses using a simple mobile app, which sends records digitally into the software solution, and your agent can connect and collaborate and take over from where you left off. Alternatively, it could be as time goes on, you could do a bit more. If the regular bookkeeping tasks yourself, you might decide you want to get a bit more involved. And then your agent can pick up where you left off. They may want to review, check, and submit to HMRC, whether that be for VAT returns, tax returns, or both. Let's take a quick glimpse at the Sage mobile app. So it's really easy and simple on the mobile app to get a snapshot, so an overview of how your business is performing. Let's take a look at how easy it is to raise a sales invoice to a customer whilst you're out the office, so out and about and on the go. So via the mobile app, we're being able to select a customer from our customer list. We can pull down any set products or services. Very easily raise the sales invoice whilst we're out and about. Once this has been saved on the mobile app, this will then post back to the main solution. Sage supports you and your agent every step of the way. Our people, we're here to support you with technical support available 24/7. We have our MTD website. You'll have access to Sage University, which is our learning platform where you'll find free e-learning courses. Collaborating with your accountant is key, which is very easy to do with Sage Accounting. We've got a wealth of MTD resources for both VAT and income tax self-assessment, and also a Sage knowledge base where you'll have access to help articles. So next steps. Sage is MTD ready now and in the future. So first step is to keep up to date with HMRC, with Sage and your accountant, and look at, are you impacted and when? Step 2, start reviewing your bookkeeper and processes. Are you using software at the moment? If you are, ensure it's compatible. If you're manual or using Excel, submitting manually, it's time to change and time to go fully digital. And the third step is key. Speak with your accountant or speak with your bookkeeper. Get compliant software from Sage. Work with your accountant. And we're fully here to support you. So I'd like to thank you for watching this webinar on MTD for VAT and income tax self-assessment.